Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Alliance Forever. Today, I have a 4v4 ladder match on the map VIRMIRE, I think is how you pronounce it. So let's go ahead and introduce our players, starting with Team 1 on the left-hand side of the map, starting with the first player of Balance Slave Noob. He is in the teal color, going first land as a Cybran. To his south, his partner here on the northwest island, we have Balance Slave. So Balance Slave Noob is in teal, and Balance Slave is in amethyst purple. He is also going Cybran, going first land. To their south, on the southwestern island here, we have the comm of Excited. He is an Aeon. He's going first land in Stitch Blue, most likely second Navy, maybe even second Air, just due to the fact that, this entire map is, not entire map, but a decent section of the map is water. So we're going to have a lot of naval play here and cover that, my favorite. And last but not least, for Team 1, we have Biomutant going first land as a UEF in Royal Blue. So again, the racial disparities on this side of the map for Team 1. For Blue Team, we have two Cybran on to the north, a UEF and an Aeon to the southwest. Let's look at Team 2, Red Team on the eastern side, the right-hand side of the map, starting with the southeastern island of Lucre, going first land in Pac-Man Blue as a UEF. And his partner down here, we have Dingy the Chainsaw, going first land, second air, most likely third Navy, as a Cybran in orange, the color orange. And on the northeastern side, rounding out the team for Team 2, we have Control K going first land, second Navy, probably third air at some point. He's going again in the Cybran faction in Crimson. And last but not least, for Team 2 on the eastern side of the map, we have Khaldun. He is in the color ruby red, going first air, probably second, third, fourth Navy, probably get a land factory in there to pump out some NGs as well. And again, he is going Seraphim. So the racial disparities on Team 2 side of things, the eastern team, we have a Cybran and a Seraphim to the north, and a Cybran and a UEF to the south. So totals, we have two Cybran, a Seraphim, and a UEF, so no Aeon tech. And two Cybran, a UEF, and a Aeon, so no Seraphim tech. Seeing a pattern with both teams having two players is going Cybran. Cybran Navy's pretty good, considering you have the Salem-class destroyers. I would probably prefer the cruisers and the Neptunes from the UEF in this mix. But, I don't know, that's just maybe me being a little partial to UEF Navy. And in terms of reclaim on this map, let me pull out my little handy dandy little number thingamajig. We have 11,799, probably around 12K mass that was originally started. Some mass has been scooped up while we were introducing the players, so very nice. I don't have to do a lot of math in my head. It just displays the number. Very grateful for that. And speaking of mods, I have added a couple new mods to the repertoire, to the group that I use. First thing you'll notice is a lot of these ones floating around. These are NGs. So instead of having the little tick marks like the T1 bomber of the Shimmer has, you have the the unit little icon and then little like dash underneath it to indicate what tech it is. The engineers are just numbered, so it just makes the icons a little easier to read at a glance. So very nice for me to be able to oh, that's a lot of T1 NGs or a lot of T3 NGs or whatever the case may be. Kind of a lot easier to see what types of NGs all of the players are using, especially at this higher rated where we have everywhere from a 1240 all the way to a pretty much a 2400. We have a kill out here from this bomber going after and a couple NGs going for that reclaim on the southeast beach of this middle island. And on this middle island, we have, how much reclaim is on here? So about 6,300 and some change. So about half of the mass, at least in terms of reclaim, is on just this center island. So definitely some place where our players are going to hold up. There are some plans to build some factories and go for that reclaim here for both of our players. We have two comms over here to the southwest. Both of the players on the southwestern island have vacated and decided to hold claim to this middle island. We do have one comm from Control K moving to the south to try to thwart the incoming advancements. We could see Balance Slave coming here to join them as well. We have a drop out here for a couple NGs out here from this skyhook. Looks like it's going for the reclaim. There is 600. It says 600 or 800. I think that's 600. Looks like 800. Anyway, so a decent amount of reclaim here just in that. I think that's a cruiser. Yeah, that's a cruiser from the UEF. So they're going to scoop that up before that comm can get there. They'll probably get a decent amount of it before they get killed off. Naval factory starting to spring up here. The engineers get an immediate reclaim order. This NG gets a little over half, a little under half, and that leaves 423 reclaim. So, I mean, a third of the mass was taken. Khaldoon's saying he messed up his build order. I don't know what that's about. Don't expect a lot from me. I mean, it's only 5 minutes and 30 seconds into the match. We still got, let me move that away. We still got, roughly about an hour, so a little under an hour. So a lot can change between now and then. Let's go ahead and look. We have some interceptors having a disagreement over here to the south. I mean, at this point, you're just throwing those interceptors away, not really used for a whole lot. There is a bomber coming out, going to drop its first bomb. Kills 2 of the supporting NGs for Luker. That's going to slow down his build speed on those frigates. But again, I mean, those are just 2 engineers. It's not the end of the world. It'd be different if those engineers were building mexes and the sort. That would be more of a devastating blow. We have the comm of Excited. Went to that southeastern beach, took most of the reclaim, and is now going to build a forward factory. We have the comm of Denji moving in to probably take some of the reclaim that no longer exists there, or at least try to knock Excited off of that little peninsula thingamajig that he has down here. The south point on that compass. To the north, we have a couple of these frigates moving in on the position here of this little cove for Khaldoon. But again, it's just a 1v1. There are actually supporting units out here from Control K as well. Control K going for a air factory now. Probably will pump out some T1 bombers or the like to try to just help thwart any incoming fire from these naval units out here from the balanced slaves. Because there's 2 of them. There's one noob and one not. And what's ironic, I won't say ironic, but it's interesting that there's balanced slave noob who's a 1992 and balanced slave who's a 2335. So I mean, noob by no stretch of the imagination. Definitely a pro in this game. But it's just interesting how I guess he considers him a noob comparatively to balanced slave. So who knows what's up with that naming convention. We have a drop out here from Denji, the chainsaw. He has some Medusa on board. There's T1 artillery going for the main base of Excited. There is an anti-air turret nearby, but the Seeker, but unfortunately it doesn't deal enough damage. And that gunship will be destroyed. That transport will be destroyed, but the Medusa will not. NGs from Excited move in to try to get a reclaim order off. The Medusa are moving, trying to avoid that reclaim order. That's the only way engineers can deal quote-unquote damage to units is by issuing a reclaim order. There is a flare built up. There's another flare built up. They're super cheap and easy to build. So this is going to start, taking out these Medusa. The Medusa have taken out 2 T2 mexes as of right now, but these aren't close enough to deal a whole lot of damage. More artillery shells land all the time, unfortunately, and that the third one will go down, and that last Medusa will die off. So I guess 3 mexes for 400, like 1,200. I'd say that's a good fair trade. 1,200 mass for like 250, 300. I'd say that's a pretty fair share. Yeah, that's only 48 mass for that transport, that Skyhook. We have combat in the middle of the map. Excited, trying to scoop up reclaim while he's being shot at. Constant units firing back and forth. We have artillery just firing at one another, trying to reduce the reclaim for their opponents while trying to secure their own reclaim. Excited has about almost half his way to getting a rank in vet. Control K, a very similar position there. You can see the Medusa fire landing all the time. Just by pure unit count, Excited is falling behind, and at least Team 1 in general. We do have the comm of Denji on the approach, but Excited's more concerned about getting the reclaim. I mean, we're talking about like 50 mass per those structures for the most part, but the PD and the anti-air emplacements are definitely where the mass is concentrated on this island. Again, now we have Denji coming in to support his compatriot here. We have the two sides of Team 2 have joined forces over here in the middle, trying to knock out Team 1. And they're doing a pretty good job. They have the pretty much the midpoint all secure. They're building a forward factory as well to pump out either more units in terms of tanks or artillery, or pump out NGs as well. It looks like they're building NGs, so they're going to scoop up that reclaim as fast as they can. Biomutant comes in to assist. Excited is almost dead. Sub 100 hit points. One more shot will do it. And kaboom! That is a kill for Team 2. The first kill in the game. Excited has died. That's really weird. Why did it say he wasn't killed? He was definitely killed by Denji. We all saw it. That's really weird. Balance Slave says take draw. Biomutant going in for that draw. Denji trying to run away. Denji trying to, survive as best he can. Ping's going down. Control K saying, hey, I need some assistance here. Denji starting to retreat, trying to get back there. Sub 1,500 hit points. Every shot's 100 hit points. And, a couple more shots are going to do it. Yes, son of a gun. Let's draw, says Denji. Says eat your rating, useless guy. Oh, you don't need to throw shade while you're trying to run away. That's not cool. Sub 100. Oh, that shot misses. Sub 100 hit points. And kaboom. That is a murder-suicide here in the middle of the map. I don't know. Why is it saying they died? I don't know what's up with that. Maybe this is an older game, so maybe that was just part of the way that it's weird. They killed one another, but we have gunships appearing. These renegades out here from Balance Slave. It's now Balance Slaves versus Team 2. And Control K eating a lot of gunship fire is next to the water, so he will recover fairly quickly. Balance Slave inheriting all of that infrastructure. So it's pretty much, I would like to see maybe him hand over. I mean, it's hard to hand over your main base, but just to give Balance Slave Noob the northwestern island and you take the southwestern island, northwest and southwest. I took a reclaim at the start, says Biomutant. Okay, you scammed my 600 reclaim. There, well played. There is just salt being thrown. So we got salt, we got high-rated players, we got early comm deaths, we got all that in this game. We have some T2 bombers here on the east side, taking out the rest of that small naval force out here from Balance Slave. I learned my lesson finally, and I will assist in the future. Man, there's just these two players just throwing salt and shade at one another. It's very fun. Control K, it's still taking out the remnants of, I think that was Biomutant's old factories. They're still producing units. They're producing NGs. Probably a smart play there, trying to recover as much of that mass as Balance Slave could get, and then say, I am out of here. Again, at the 13th minute mark, let's go ahead and look at eco totals. We have 283, 286 keeps changing on Team 1's side of things, while Team 2 is a little far behind, about 40 mass a second, not a huge amount. Team 1 is winning the eco game in terms of total mass accrued at about 10k, 11k mass, or even close to maybe 13. So, the number obviously keeps changing as time goes on. So Team 1 looking a little bit better, but Team 2 does own the middle, so they're going to get the, beef up these mass extractors and be able to pump out more mass for their coffers. Torpedo bombers being issued orders to take out all of these frigates here in the western ocean. It's not a pond because it's unenclosed. But I guess southwestern part of the ocean, I guess. More and more bombers come overhead all the time. They're targeting, again, the frigates because they can't target the Aurora because they are not in the water technically. So that must be annoying for them. They're like, there's units that I want to target and they're super weak, but I can't because they're not actually in the water because they hover. This hover tech is very useful. The Aeons and the Seraphim use that tech a lot. We have a very interesting play down here from Nuke, putting a decent, actually pretty much all of his forces down here to the south, taking out these southern factories and that naval force down here. I would have liked to see him come all the way around here, around the main island, and take out infrastructure back here. There is a mech that has not been claimed yet. Looks like an engineer was on a order to do so and just didn't. So that's kind of a missed opportunity there for Team 1, at least at this point. Balance Slave. He did give over everything to his partner here to the north, so he's going to take the south, and his partner, Balance Slave Noob, is going to take the north. Definitely a smart play there. Trying to group up all of that APM a lot better. He did miss a P-Gen, and he did miss a mass extractor, but that could be for specific reasons. Does he have... Oh, he is having power issues. That probably explains why he took that P-Gen. Or at least didn't take it. I should say gave it over. I didn't give it over. There is a T3 P-Gen that has been built here for Balance Slave Noob, so he is pumping out air as fast as he can, trying to assist in that air game. We are having Calm of Khaldun just pumping out factories as fast as he can. You can see what the headquarters looks like for the T2 variety. Has, you know, that white border around it with a little V, or the V upside triangle, so it's a lot easier to see. And it is, the icon is bigger, so you can, unless there's a bunch of engineers around it, you can realistically see it from a decent far up way, as well as the T2 air headquarters. For the Seraphim, you can see it has little arches or whatever, kind of like in the military you have little, I forget what they're called. Let me know down in the comments what the arrows are called on the side of the shoulder and signify the rank. I know there's a specific name for them, I just can't think of it off the top of my head. But anyway, naval force is starting to group up here, back here in the south. Feels like that's T3 air rush, says Denji. Well, I mean, 16 minutes, it's not really an air rush because it's 16 minutes. I'd say air rush would be like 12 minutes. But we are having a decent amount of issues here for Team 1. There's a mismatch in technology. We are having a bulwark shield on approach, but there's a decent amount of frigates here in this mix. There are destroyers as well. Would like to see a cruiser at least somewhere. There's a destroyer back here as well. I don't know why there's no cruisers in this mix. I guess it's not for the Seraphim, it's for every one of the factions. That, of course, is a UEF one. So that is what the Navy one looks like. That is what the air one looks like. And I don't think we have a land one at the time. Oh, no, that's Air Factory. That's T3. That's sort of like a, I'll go crown on top of it. It's really cute. I don't see a land headquarters. I guess you're not really going to use land that much. But this naval force is going to take out all auxiliary factories for Balance Slave here in the southern portion of the map. Definitely going to hurt him in the production side of things. He does have a bulwark shield protecting his T1 units, adding hit points to them. Very smart move there. They have 8,000 shield strength, or temporary hit points, whatever you want to call that. There is a destroyer now appearing for him as well, so trying to fight back in this Navy. We do have, of course, Lucre on double base here to the southeast, so it's pretty much one player versus one player in the south and one player versus two players in the north, and Team 2 is winning that game by one, so it's 3-2 in their favor for players left alive in this game. I'm trying to see if I can just spot a sonar facility, but no one's... Oh, there's one right here. See, it doesn't have the little ring around it like it should. I don't know why. It should be considered radar. It has literally the same symbol as radar. You can even, it's the same little, 3 little lines. But it just doesn't want to give it to the sonar, which is annoying. Which isn't super important. I mean, T3 sonar, yeah, it's mobile, and it's just nice to know where it is. But Omni is far more important, in my opinion. If my opinion is wrong, or you have a different opinion, let me know down in the comments. If you've been liking the cast, please give it a thumbs up as well. Again, we have combat here down in the south. They're trying to get around all these factories, and now these factories are acting as a hindrance versus an assistance. They aren't even producing anything. Well, I guess some of them are, but I guess all of them are, and my mistake. But just not really committing to the Navy fight as much as either player really wants to. Again, these factories are adding a issue of not being able to group up effectively, but that order has been given from Lucre. He's going to push Balance Slave's Navy in the south. And honestly, he's going to win this. He has a couple bulwarks that he should push up a little bit more. He has a decent amount of destroyers. There's a couple cruisers I saw back here. Oh, they're back here. So, you know, taking out the Navy is definitely priority one. Once he does that, he'll start attacking everything on the ground over here to the west. But there's not really a whole lot going on. The shields have starting to fall. Looks like the bulwarks are starting to be targeted as well. The T1 frigates are trying to rush in there and take those shield boats out. There is one still alive, and there's another one as well. But it looks like the destroyers out here from Bound Slave are actually targeting the destroyers specifically. And a lot of them have taken a lot of hits, but they're all still alive. And now the cruisers are focusing fire on the infrastructure here for Bound Slave in the southwest section of the map. Trying to take anything he can out to just slow them down. In terms of eco, they're still winning the eco game in terms of Team 1, but that difference is starting to diminish as more and more facilities fall to the wayside. T3 engineer out here for the teal player of Balance Slave Noob out here going on a reclaim order. Gets one piece of reclaim and goes, I'm good. See ya, guys. That was my job for the day. Gonna go home. I don't know. I might get rid of this number mod. It is kind of a little distracting. So let me know down in the comments if you guys like it or not. I'm keeping the mass extractor though. That one's a lot easier to read. But I guess there is just a lot of ones everywhere, so I might just disable that. We have more forces conglomerating here to the south. Again, trying to protect this T2 factory. Trying to protect all of the factories that they can. Large wave of bombers are on approach. They're going after the destroyers. Very sensible play. Take out the anti-air and then take out everything else. All of those bombers are taken out, but one of the cruisers is down. There are ASFs to help assist in the defense of those bombers. There are ASFs coming to now defend the Navy, so trying to pull Lucre's attention away from the air game, trying to ensure that he gets, again, another wave. This is Balance Slave Noob, of course. He's going to rush in, taking out another cruiser. I think there was only that one left. He's going to... The attack order has been given. The interceptors go in first. The ASF will come in after that. Where are the ASF out here from Balance Slave Noob? Well, they're nowhere to be found. They're on this little island hanging out, but it's just too little, too late. Some of the torpedoes do get off, but... Ooh. Oh, they do kill that destroyer. Ooh, that's got to hurt, but it was almost dead anyway, so it's not really a huge loss there. We have a decent-sized Navy force out here for Control K in the northeast. Lots of destroyers, as well as a couple cruisers as well. And we also have destroyers here for Khaldun as well. So good to see him assisting in that naval side of things. We have Balance Slave still just hanging out down here. Not doing a whole lot. Just enjoying the water. Just going for a swim. And of course his last teammate is also in the water. His head is not sticking out, but his little horns on the side of his shoulders are. So don't think Team 1 can see that. Nope, Team 1 cannot see that. I guess your head has to be out of water for a radar signature to be detected. Now the destroyers over here to the north are starting to take out the infrastructure here on this this small northern island. There is a run-by that starts to happen over here. Sorry, a float-by, swim-by for Khaldun. But he could easily come all the way around, but I guess he doesn't want to. Now he's going to engage the destroyers. He isn't going to win this. He doesn't have the firepower. He has one destroyer and one cruiser. That's not really a whole lot to fight off this just pretty much all destroyer. And there's a frigate or two in the back line. But that destroyer is going to get priority. And then after that, it's going to be just open season on those forces to the north. Definitely, had he just kept going, he probably would have gotten away with it for a little bit longer. Stealth going on the way for a Balance Slave Noob. I don't know why. Well, I mean, it's just nice to be stealthy, but... I don't know. It's 23 minutes, 24 minutes. Not really that important to get a stealth upgrade. Probably would go for T2 or maybe teleporter. Teleporter is pretty expensive, to be fair, so maybe not that. I feel like stealth is kind of if he's not being aggressive with this comm, it's not really that important. So I don't know. That's kind of a weird play to do right now. But Kills says Control K, go after all of these destroyers, and there's a lot of them actually. We'll take a look at the numbers. There are 5. Okay, not as many as I thought. Control K definitely has more than that. He only has 5? Man, it seems like he has a lot more. Maybe just the Cybern units kind of just at a glance look a lot similar. The red doesn't help. It just kind of makes everything blend into one. There is a counter intel boat here, so it's difficult for Team 2 to get a radar signature, or sonar signature, I should say, on these units. The ACU boss says somebody, I think that was from, it could have been from Slave Noob. So his teammate, Balanced Slave Noob, looking to his Balanced Slave, the first, I guess, the regular one, whatever you want to call that, as kind of like the leader of the team. And then it's kind of important that sometimes to have somebody just say, look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to focus on this one thing, whether it build a Paragon, whether it do, like, go for artillery. Like, all of us focus on this one thing. Definitely have some sort of direction is very important in this game. Especially with, the more players you get, the more direction you kind of need. So we are having naval engagements again down here in the south. We have units out here from Control K actually assisting in that naval fight. He feels like he has enough here to the north. But it's starting to kind of favor a Balanced Slave Noob in this northern ocean. T3 on the way for Control K. He does have the torpedo, and he does have, I think that's stealth and cloak. Is it cloaking then stealth, or is it? Well, I think they have the same upgrade, right? But anyway, let's see. Is it the same upgrade? It is just the stealth field generator, not the personal cloaking. So I guess both Cybern comms the Cybern comms just get cloaking in general. But anyway, he's going to use that offensively. That torpedo doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but it does do something, and something is better than nothing. So take what you can get, kind of thing. T2 radar installation has been built here. That's pretty far forward, and on that the beach, that's not really the best position. It is, of course, farther forward, which means they get a better view on things. That is the ring, so not a whole lot, but it's something, of course. And not really worth it in my opinion. So we will see. Well, I don't know why the little icon for death is blinking on Denji. Oh, it stopped. That was weird. Oh, that could have been Denji pinging. That's probably what that was. But the highest rated player, the second highest rated player in the game, is still alive, Balanced Slave. So definitely we're going to be looking to him for a lot of the more beefier plays. We have a Galaxy class appearing here for Control K. He went for T3, and you can see the little crown on the factory. They haven't seen land yet, but we will maybe see that in this game. If not, there's another game I'm going to cast tomorrow that has land in it, so we'll definitely see it then. I probably will take off the NG mod. It's just a lot. Just make the icons a lot harder to read, and just it's harder to see, of course, the factory when you just have a bunch of ones around it. You would just assume that's the headquarters, but you never know. Control K and Khaldun fend off the incoming force from Balanced Slave Noob and now going to counterattack. We have Balanced Slave down here in the south pushing against Lucre, so as one team gets an advantage in the north, the other team gets an advantage in the south. So kind of like a yin-yang back and forth kind of thing going down over there. What do we got going on over here in the back line? Any juicy plays? It is 27 minutes. I don't see any efforts in the air. I would like to see Balanced Slave at least go for T3 just so that he has access to it. And so that way if he has to pump out some units like some ASF or something, he can. Doesn't have to rely on his teammate to provide those to him. And in terms of ASFs this game, 8 for Team 1 and for Team 2. Who has the air? Well, like no one. Well, no, there's air down here. We have 29 ASF, so definitely Lucre in the lead in terms of air. We are having units from Team 1 from Balanced Slave just trying to get their way in and cause some annoyances. Took out a bunch of NGs. So a lot of that build power has been knocked out. And he's just pumping out ASF and bombers as fast as he can. If he was Aeon, he'd be going for the T3 torpedo bombers. They are very effective, deal lots of damage. Balance Slave Noob still up here, just holding out. And the comm of Balance Slave Noob has moved. He's over here on this, I guess the northern section of the water now. He got out of this cove. The T2 bombers out here from the Seraphim can submerge, and they do have torpedoes, so they were able to target that comm. So Balance Slave Noob definitely did a good job of moving his comm there sooner rather than later. But there is no cruisers in here to help support the destroyers over here, so these bombers are pretty much going to have carte blanche to just take anything and everything out over there. Balance Slave trying to assist this other galaxy getting online. He does have one already built that will help with the defenses. They are slow. The battleships are slow firing, so it's going to be a little harder to fend off those, faster T2 units. I was thinking of movable, but that wasn't the word I wanted to go for. There are more galaxy classes down here for Team 2 in the way of Control K, so he's pumping them out as fast as he can. I would like to see some Neptunes, maybe. Those are very effective at taking out T1 and T2 units. We are seeing them on the southern side, though, out here from Luker. So I would like to see a little bit more of sharing technology in terms of our players here on the east. I feel like Control K could benefit, or somebody, whether it be Control K or Khaldun, could benefit from that. Especially with those run-bys, being able to effectively take out a lot of this structure down here in the back. But now he's doing another push here from the north. There's hardly anything to defend, and all these factories are going to go down. So again, it just looks like Balance Slave Noob gets a room for breathing, gets some breathing room and whatnot. He immediately just loses it. So definitely disappointing on that end of things. And over here, Balance Slave not doing as well as his Mirror is doing on the northeastern side, but he did take out a Neptune, and there's another one in tow, and another one's building as we speak inside of the factory. So not really a good place to put your ship inside of the thing that's building it. ACU being pinged by Khaldun. There's nothing nearby that can do, well, anything to that comm. There are galaxy classes going through this little channel here, little waterway, and there's just more and more combat happening all of the time. Getting some nice cinematic shots of those apologies for that, and some nice cinematic shots of all of those galaxy classes, all those galaxy class battleships. Yes, I think that's proper English. Anyway, the only downside to battleships, of course, is the fact that they are slow to fire, so taking out smaller units is definitely the harder job of things. You can see all these frigates are very weak. I mean, 900 hit points versus 45,000. But just because they are slow to fire, they can't deal all the damage as fast as they can, which means thousands upon thousands of hit points are being shredded on these battleships, just due to the fact that there's nothing to really combat these smaller units out here from Balance Slave Noob. What's going on in Luker's base? Well, he, again, building out Neptunes, building out an air grid as well. Would like to see him expand that a little bit more. Having only 3 factories, 30 minutes, not really a best place to be sitting at this stage in the game. What's going on over here? Just pumping out galaxies for Control K. We have a line of PGens that could just be reclaimed at this point. We have Control K going for a SMD, kind of close to the water. Don't really like the placement of that. Probably would have placed it like right over here or something. But, you know, something's better than nothing, of course. Comm of Khaldun in the little channel that Balance Slave Noob was in earlier. Actually, cove, not channel. It's a cove. Apologies for my, what would you call the, like, people that are, hobbies of, like, landmass or water or naval names or whatever. Don't want to offend anybody in that genre. But again, just more galaxy classes are starting to ring themselves around the main production yards of Balance Slave Noob. Can't really get his forces out. Just constantly under fire. Can't catch a break. Definitely just construed by all of the everything going on. Trying to build back up the T3 Navy. The T3 headquarters was knocked out. And again, we have that same issue here as now. This galaxy class is being bombarded by T1 and T3 units, so definitely not, and T2 units, so all of the Ts except for T4 over here to the north. And you can just tell the difference in terms of map control for Team 2 versus Team 1. Team 1 losing more map control than they are gaining, while Team 2 is gaining more than they are losing down here in the south. That SMD is online here for Control K. I don't see any nukes or any sort of like attempts to go for nukes. There are battleships being built here for Balanced Slave as well. He's trying to push back. He's built his own Neptunes, building a bunch of frigates as well. The Aeon frigates, I guess the Aeons have decent units. The missile ships are definitely very effective, of course. And, of course, you cannot forget the T4 experimental battleship of the Tempest. Those are just, the Phantom game is a very good very good visualization of just how effective those ships can be. If you haven't gone and watched that game, I would very much encourage you to. It is the 50th cast on the channel. So again, definitely in the celebration of reaching 350 subs, definitely go watch that if you haven't. It's a very good match. Lots of crazy stuff happens in that match. It's just craziness. I might change the thumbnail for that video, at least the what's in the video. I have another thumbnail in mind, so you might see that tomorrow if you go look for it. You'll look at the thumbnail and you'll be like, oh, that's what he was talking about. Like, yep, that's what I was talking about. So I might do that after I record this video or finish recording here. I've been having an idea about it for the past couple days, and I should just do it. We have, again, it's just the gains. Now we're seeing Balanced Slave pushing this southern section, while his partner has now lost the Navy for the most part on that northern section. We're having cruisers, the Seraphim variety. They also get the missiles very similar to the Governor classes out from the UEF, and just taking out infrastructure. All these T3 mechs is going down. Grimplex, are you sure with those ACU position, I guess, does Denji? And that's to all. I'm assuming somebody's renamed their not character, what would you call it, their username to from Grimplex. I think maybe that's Balanced Slave Noob, maybe? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments. I've heard of Grimplexes, and I think I've casted Grimplex before. I just don't remember who is who. When they change their names, it's very hard to keep track of who's who. Apologies for that. There are some buzzkills in the area to help take out any incoming missiles, but not really that effective at taking out missiles, unlike the Volcanoes from the Aeon. Another Neptune makes it off the line just in time. Unfortunately, the amount of firepower coming off the front nine, all of those NGs just explode. They're like a bomb. Well, they died under shield coverage, so maybe they just got stuck or something. Who knows? Let me know if you guys caught that or not. I think they just control K'd for some reason. I think they were just stuck. That could have just been it. Spy plane overhead for their own teammate. I don't know why it's there. It should be over on this side, not the other side. T2 radar. I'm surprised to not see T3 radar at some point, or the Omnis. You should be seeing that at some point. But yeah, just look at the naval gains here on the north side of the map. Control K just pushing back the front lines and just going to engulf this entire central island in crimson red. So the sea of red, I guess, is what I should be calling it this match. We have, again, Neptunes and frigates and destroyers taking out the rest of the infrastructure and production factories for Lucre down here in the south. He does have backup ones of the Cybran variety, but he's not really producing anything. He's trying to scoop up reclaim. Should be pumping out T2 bombers. Yep, the torpedo bombers, definitely a good idea there. And we have missiles just constantly being launched from, not the bulwarks, but from the cruisers. Would like to see some TMD being built up. Oh, that's going to hurt losing that T3 mechs here in a couple seconds. Speaking of mechs, in terms of eco, Team 2 was winning by a large margin, 900 mass a second versus the 600 for Team 1. A lot of that due to the fact you can see all of the damage that Team 2 has done to Balanced Slave's original base and Balanced Slave Noob's now current base. We have a couple of Cerberus and a couple of Gunthers trying to spam up fire, but just look at all of these Galaxy class destroyers, Galaxy class battleships is doing damage to anything and everything in their sight. We have Neptunes in the distance, but unfortunately the battleships outrange the Neptunes. They could, I think, outdamage them if the Neptunes were in range, if I remember correctly, but of course they're not, so not that helpful. Control of the Navy on that section has been given to Balanced Slave Noob, trying to balance the APM costs a lot better. Good job on Balance Slave for doing that. I mean, he is almost a 2400, so that's almost to be expected at this point. But now he's just taking out the infrastructure, taking out the airbase specifically for Lucre. Not going for, I guess he already took out most of Lucre's main base. So as one island falls for Team 1, one island falls for Team 2. Very much mirroring each other in this game. Don't know what that means. But something about target this, or I don't even know what that was about. But the artillery's starting to do a number on the ships here, but not a whole lot. The engineers are trying to just keep them online as best they can. They aren't assisted by pigeons at all, so they are slow to fire, but, you know, again, something is better than nothing. The Neptune's taking out all of the auxiliary units over here to the north, trying to deal with them as best they can, but again, they can't fire against those galaxies. Well, it doesn't help when the galaxies die. And there's a couple of these summits nearby. There's another summit inbound. Looks like Balance Slave Noob is pushing in the Neptunes, taking stuff out, and then leaving. They're trying to pull those galaxy classes further and further so that the summits can get in range. We are having a bleeding effect now on this eastern side. Balance Slave is now routing a decent amount of his forces to that main production factories for Control K. If he takes out the T3 headquarters, he'll lock out T3 for Control K. And on the north side, we only have a T2 naval factory here for Khaldun as well, so he won't really have a whole lot. Oh, I guess his is in the back line. I do apologize. But it's all the way back there, which it's safe, but it takes a while for it to get back here. So maybe instead of having T1 or T2, maybe have T3 on the front line and then have your headquarters in the back line. So you get the best of both worlds, having it be protected and having access to T3 on the front lines. But a lot of these units are being pushed back. There's a decent amount of cruisers and, of course, a galaxy just finished, so not helpful for any assault on that headquarters. Missiles are raining in, though. We have TMD trying to do their best. Assist orders go down. Repair orders go down onto that factory. Just that is the name of the game. We have bulwarks here. We have a bunch of cruisers here. That is the main target. Will Balance Slave take this out? The hit points drop below 50%. More missiles rain inbound. There is TMD on these cruisers. It's just there's just a zapper on it. But that factory is about to fall. It drops into the red. Another barrage of missiles goes down. Isn't enough. It takes out the T3 factory as a nuke is launched out here from this Liberator, and it is going for the main base, or one of the main bases of Balance Slave. We have a cruiser in the back line. There's a couple of gunships on approach. Takes out the first gunship, takes out the second gunship, and that cruiser's getting actually a lot of hit points from the veteran seats at 3,600. So five-starred cruiser, don't see that every day. And this nuke is going to land. There isn't any TMD in the area, so we're just going to turn off all the things, get a nice view of the landscape, and watch it go kaboom. Bunch of pigeons go down, bunch of factories go down. Definitely is going to hurt him in terms of Balance Slave, and it drops his eco decent amount. Team 2 suffering severely in the eco games. It is pretty much actually it's over a 3-to-1. We have pretty much 250 for Team 1 and 750, a little over that for Team 2. So a 3-to-1 advantage in the eco games. Definitely not where Team 1 wants to sit. It is a 3v2, so more APM on Team 2 side of things. They also have a nuke, so that's obviously not helpful for Team 1. So if you're rooting for Team 1, I do apologize right now. Your team's not really doing so hot. They have, similar map controls, but just the eco. Team 2 has been a lot better at taking out all of that extra, the backline eco, whereas Balance Slave has not. There's a lot of T3 mexes that should not be online. These should all be taken out. And we even have the comm of Lucre going for an Atlantis. So that'll be fun to watch get developed if it does. Balance Slave went for the push to take out the naval factory, which was a good play, to be fair. But it looks like... Does Control K have a new one? I guess that's just one that was building at the time. Wouldn't be surprised to see this go upgraded to T3 headquarters at some point. But now the pushback is real. You're starting to see that front line for Team 1 starting to be pushed back further and further. We have land incursions, of course, for a couple minutes now on this northern beachhead factory. Not factories. We have PDs trying to be spammed up. Shields are just trying to be built as fast as they can. Balance Slave only has 7 mass income to his name. He does have some reclaim as well, but he's just trying to survive the best he can. Unfortunately, there's a lot of reclaim here to be grabbed. Speaking of reclaim, total on the map 125,000. So, you know, decent amount of reclaim to be scooped up for any of our players here. We have another nuke, pretty fast nuke there. The hives also help. Where is this one going? Well, it looks like it's going for the naval facility production for Balance Slave, taking out his headquarters and, of course, another of the factories. A lot of the build power is going to go down. There is no anti-nuke nearby. This nuke is going to hurt. And again, not a whole lot going on in terms of taking out the eco. You would have thought Balance Slave would have taken the cruisers and brought them into the backline, took the rest of that out. But this nuke is going to land, and it's going to hurt. I wish there was like anti-nuke for Navy, but there's not. Takes out the headquarters, takes out another factory, takes out a section of that that build power over here to the east. So that's definitely a blow. No eco was in terms of eco generating was lost, but again, T3 factory headquarters loss is definitely a blow, and Control Cat gets revenge for his Cybran one that was killed earlier. You can just see all of this stuff just trying to push as best they can on the north. Team 2 losing again in the naval game on the eastern side. They are starting to push back a little more with a bunch of these cruisers as well. But we have Lucre, who has built Atlantis, excuse me. My English is terrible at times. These are very effective in the water. Lots of torpedoes. Can build air units. Super effective. But the NG invasion has begun here on the southeast island for Balance Slave. Surprised not to see him build some T1 or even T2 mechs on this southeastern island. Or even go and just rebuild everything here. I don't know now he's doing it, but kind of a little slow at doing it. Probably distracted with a whole bunch of other stuff going on, which, I mean, I don't blame him. There is a lot going on. PD creep starting to be the name of the game here for Balance Slave Noob, trying to just take out anything and everything over here. Air Factory is going T3. It's on Team 1's island, and it's going T3 air. That's definitely not necessary. This is what the land factory looks like. It is actually upgrading to T3. It has these little brackets on the left and the right. So the symbols are very different, so it's a lot easier to pick them out of a crowd. We have torpedoes going after the comm of Balance Slave. Balance Slave falling below 25% hit points. He has no upgrades on that comm. More torpedoes rain in all the time. There's nothing that can be done for him in the water, unfortunately, unless a transport sucked him up out of the water, but that is going to be a kill for Team 2. This was now a 3v1 in favor of Team 2, which is the Eastern Islands or team or whatever the case may be. I hit my mic stand trying to just talk with my hands there. I do talk with my hands a lot, and so sometimes I just move my hands around and I just whack something. Not too hard, just a little like, ow, that hurt, and then that was it. Lucre's built another experimental, probably another Atlantis, which would be my guess. No, he's built a monkey. Well, you can't transport a monkey, sir. That would be outrageous. Just the overpoweredness of just hot dropping a monkey on top of somebody. Definitely OP. We have, again, just more and more Navy here for Balance Slave. At least the benefit now is he now has full control over all of Team 1's units. We have now the eco differential has gone from a 3v1 to now a 2v1, or a 2-2-1 instead of a 3-2-1. 800 mass a second for Team 2 versus 450 or so, which has netted Team 2 170,000 mass advantage. There is a Seraphim experimental bomber. The Washer is being constructed as we speak. My favorite unit in the game. You saw, I think it was 2 games ago, there's just the power of those things, just the the definition of overkill was the text in that for the thumbnail of that video. Man, that thing was powerful. She's just overpowered when you have like 4 or 5 of them together. Immediately transferred. I guess it was started by Khaldun and then transferred control over to Control K. Control K immediately drops a bomb on that Navy, takes out almost all the hit points on that Summit. Summit gets a rank and vet there very quickly, but these Yasel will take the rest of those hit points out. And now Team 1, again, still on the back foot. There's a nuke they have to deal with. There's an R-washer they have to deal with. There's, decent amount of Navy to still be taken out. There's now a Atlantis that's just over here. Why is it over here? It's not really doing a whole lot. What's going on with that? Definitely could be used elsewhere. So definitely don't know why Luker could have just sent that to the front lines, but I guess didn't. So definitely a misplay there. He has his monkey, now is walking. I don't know where this thing is going. It is going for the other main base for Balance Slave on the southwestern island. I mean, not a bad play. It's going to take a while to walk all the way over there, though. But it probably would have been beneficial to build it like in the water somewhere and then walked it over. But anyway, hindsight's 2020 and all of that. We have another Medusa drop or just walk or swim by or whatever. PD trying to be spammed up as fast as it can. These flares are being used once again to take these Medusa out. Flares just got to keep moving. If you get hit, it's pretty much a KO. But we have fire from the summits just raining down. Not going to last very long. They do take out some of the mass storages for these mexes, but not really any. I guess they lost 1, 2 of them, so not that bad. Luca builds another experimental. It's another Atlantis, and then builds another one immediately after that. So the Atlantis spam is real here, but he's taking the long approach, going all the way around. There are Corsairs on approach, going after this mechs here in the cove. Takes, doesn't take it out. Well, maybe the next volley will take it out. Yep, there it goes. So Balance Slave just losing everything, just, a death by 1,000 cuts on all sides. He is fighting back here on the northern island, though, making some progress, but not really a lot of effort by both teams is really being put in over there. Khaldun says, give all mass in bank to Control K. Control K, I don't know what he's doing, but... Oh, he's building another nuke, I guess. Where is that Awasha? There are Corsairs over the comm of Balance Slave. Balance Slave goes into the water to hide. I guess he was in the water at some point. There are SAMs nearby. They take out almost all of those Corsairs. There's one left alive. So that's going to be an annoyance for Balance Slave. But I don't know where that All-Washer went. I mean, not that small. I should be able to see that giant red dot somewhere. They didn't shoot it down, did they? That'd be disappointing. Didn't really do a whole lot in terms of taking anything out. I really don't see it. Where is it? Oh, that's the Atlantis. That's another Atlantis. I don't know. It's like one of those things where it's right in front of my face and everyone's like, it's right there. You don't see it. You're blind. It's right there. But the naval gains out here for Balance Slave. He's pushed all the way into that main cove, takes out all those factories. There's still the factories, of course, on the southeast and northeast of the main island. Luke has built another Atlantis, but they're going after the nuke. The nuke is like 90% loaded, 75 to 95, 90% or so. I can't tell. Artillery being spammed up by Control K, trying to push back these units. Bombers being thrown at Neptunes to try to push them back. There's Corsairs. They're just going to get annihilated by these incoming Galaxy class. There's a couple Neptunes, Summits, pummeling the shields. Again, Seraphim shields are not the best, but he does have... Sorry, Cybran shields are not the best, but the Seraphim are, and that's what he's using to shield his nuke, at least a portion of it. Try to hold back this incoming artillery fire. Where is this All-Washer? Oh, there's the Atlantis over here. The Atlantis has now pushed Balance Slave out of the water. He's going for... There's the All-Washer, comes in over the top, and that is a kill. I missed it the entire game. Trying to find that thing, and at the last second it was a kill. It does die off at the last second though, but that is a win here for Team 2 on the eastern side of the map. They were starting to lose the naval game here in the north. I mean, they were starting to push back as well. The nuke was under threat. It wasn't finished. It was really close though. It was probably like 85% maybe, but nonetheless they did win. They lost one player, but again, A win is a win regardless of how many people on your team survive. And again, thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. The assistance from the Atlantis pushed the calm of Balance Slave out of the water, and the Awasher with its dying breath kills the calm. So again, definitely a good ending to that match. Also, there's a Monkey Lord nearby as well. It did take out that secondary base. So that was coming for Balance Slave as well. But again, thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Please like and comment down below if you enjoyed it. Let me know what your favorite moment was. And again, if you haven't subscribed and you've watched my content, this is either it's your first time or returning viewer, please click that red button. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for everybody who has, and thank you to everybody who will. And again, thank you to everyone, and I will see everyone in the next one.